So I've already seen and reviewed A Cure for Wellness, so I can either A, go see and review The Great Wall, a movie that I don't really have any interest in seeing that's probably gonna bomb. B, go see Fist Fight, which looks like an utter piece of shit. Or, better yet, C, I can review Logan before it comes out. I'm gonna review Logan before it comes out. Logan is the 9th film in the X-Men cinematic universe, or 10th film if you count Deadpool, and the supposedly final film with Hugh Jackman reprising his role as James Howlett Logan, Wolverine. The movie takes place in the year 2029, and mutants are endangered. Wolverine and Charles Xavier are two of the last mutants known to be alive, and then suddenly they come across this young girl who turns out to be a mutant herself, very similar to Wolverine, and it's up to both Wolverine and Charles Xavier to try to get this young girl to this paradise across the border into Canada so that she pretty much can be free. And supposedly there are other mutants over there as well. But things are a little tricky because both Logan and Charles Xavier are not what they used to be back in the day, and they might be approaching their end, especially Logan. So this is a really big deal when it comes to the X-Men movies, because we are about to say goodbye to the longest running performance by an actor of a superhero character ever. Hugh Jackman has played the character of Wolverine since the year 2000, when the first X-Men movie came out, and he's been doing it for 17 years. In that time, we've had 3 Spider-Mans, 3 Hulks, 2 Supermans, 2 Batmans, 2 Daredevils, 3 Punishers, 2 Ghost Riders, and yet we still have the same Wolverine for 17 years. This is also a big deal because this is the first solo Wolverine movie to get an R rating, something that we as fans have been wanting to see, because Wolverine is like Deadpool and the Punisher. You really cannot make a movie about them unless you make it rated R. Now, Wolverine in an ensemble film, that's fine because it's an ensemble film, so the focus is on a bunch of other characters, but a solo Wolverine movie had to be rated R, and it was about damn time we got one. But does that mean the movie's good, though? We got an R rating, does that mean the movie's good? Yes, and I will even go as far to say that out of the solo Wolverine movies, this is the best one, which honestly wasn't that hard to do because X-Men Origins Wolverine is a piece of shit, and while I did enjoy The Wolverine from James Mangold, who directed this movie as well, it was a bit boring at points, and the third act is a bit confusing to messy, but still had fun with that one. But this one is definitely better. Once again, Hugh Jackman delivers as Logan, aka Wolverine, and again proves that he really understands the character, and really nobody else could play him better. I know they're gonna have to get another actor eventually, but he embodies Wolverine in the same way that Robert Downey Jr. embodies Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, or the way Chris Evans embodies Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. There's just something to Hugh Jackman's performance where you watch him and go, yeah, that is Wolverine. This is probably his most dramatic and most powerful performance as Wolverine because, again, he's much older, he's not the young Wolverine that he used to be back in the day, so you watch this whole movie and you are afraid for him. You really are asking yourself, is this going to be his last outing? And they also really did a good job of making Wolverine scary again. I mean, Wolverine had his scary moments here and there after X-Men Origins Wolverine, most notably in his pointless but fun cameo in X-Men Apocalypse. And he's scary here as well. So bottom line, as his final outing as Wolverine, Hugh Jackman was amazing. Now we also have this girl, Daphne Keane, who plays Laura, this new mysterious mutant who's very similar to Wolverine, and if you know the comics, you know that her other name is X-23, and she's really good in this movie. She doesn't really have that much dialogue to deliver, but she does a really good job based on her actions and her expressions. There are points where she is legitimately scary at times, where she gives people this death stare, and you just know you really don't want to mess with her. And the characters even seem to know, because once they start messing with her, ooh boy, is it something. I'll just say that. I didn't really know if I was gonna like her, but as the movie played out, I really grew to like her as X-23. The movie also has a really great look to it. The cinematography is very gritty and often dirty, which also helps with the tone that the movie's trying to set. It's more down to earth. I mean, yes, even though this is in the same universe as those previous movies, this feels the most grounded in reality. And it gives the movie a much darker tone than the previous X-Men movies, because you're enjoying watching the movie, but you never get that sense of fun that X-Men, X2, First Class, Days of Future Past, and Deadpool delivered on. But then again, I don't think that was the intention of this movie, to make it really fun. It is more grounded in reality. It is a darker movie. It is more violent, which is why this movie got an R rating. The violence in here is finally something we deserved to see in a solo Wolverine movie, and it can be really glorious at times. We finally get to see Wolverine and even X-23 go into berserker mode at long last, where they just go on a really bloody and gory as shit killing spree. Several, I should say, and most of the time it is glorious. Other times, however, you wish you could see more of the gore, because one of the problems I had with this movie is that the editing in terms of the action scenes is very choppy. It'll make a bunch of quick cuts, and it's cut in a way that they're trying to hide some of the violence. Like when you go watch The Hunger Games, the first one, they cut away from all the kids getting killed so they could maintain a PG-13 rating. But this movie's R, and you just almost want to say, guys, you got the R rating. You don't have to cut away in terms of the violence. You can show us people getting stabbed in the face. You can show us people getting their arms cut off. You can show people getting decapitated. It's okay. I mean, that's not to say that the movie doesn't show you that. It does, but the times that it tries to cut away from the violence, you're just kind of like, huh, okay, that's weird. One other thing that I had a real issue with, well, not a real issue, but something that bugged me in the beginning, also goes back to the R rating. Even though the movie is really violent, and rightfully so, there are way too many times where characters drop the F-bomb. It's almost like somebody working on the movie went, oh, we fucking finally got our fucking R rating, which fucking means we can fucking say fuck as fucking many times as we fucking want. And after a while, it just gets annoying hearing fuck over and over. And it's also really weird hearing Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier say fuck. But I don't know. After a while, they kind of reduced on how many times they said fuck, so I got over it, and it wasn't enough to really distract from the movie. So my biggest issue on the movie is really the editing in terms of the action scenes and how they kind of cut away. But on the whole, I really, really liked Logan. Again, out of the 3 solo Wolverine movies, this is the best one, and in terms of the X-Men series as a whole, if we're counting Deadpool, this is probably my 3rd or 4th favorite. The other ones I really love are First Class, Deadpool, and Days of Future Past. But this one is really good. It's a great send-off to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and it's a really great send-off to the original X-Men series in total. Days of Future Past was a great send-off that fixed the wrongs of X-Men 3, but this is a really great send-off for Wolverine on his own. So if you're a fan, I definitely say this is worth seeing in your lifetime, especially if you've been a fan of this movie from the beginning. However, parents, if you do have kids, this is one movie like Deadpool you do not want to take them to see. I mean, you might be thinking, oh, it's X-Men. I show my kids X-Men all the time. You don't really want to show them this. But on the whole, I really dug this movie. And that's my review for Logan. I hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on the movie, if and when you've seen it. And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.